It's circling. Okay. Can you hear me? You can hear me now? Can you hear me? Salaki, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm going live right now. The water.
All right, bro. You're live, by the way.
Shalom, Lord Christ. Shalom. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakathah for the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Alathah Hashem, Yahweh Shah for the sisters. This is the Tuesday night law class, Brotherhood class. I'm Priest Officer Shadrach, and I'm of the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. And we're going to go in tonight on what is brotherhood? What is true brotherhood? What is the brotherhood according to the Bible? And what does that mean to Black, Hispanic, and so-called Native Indians? Now, I'm going to start off with the story in the Apocrypha in the book of 1 Maccabees. We're going to go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1, and let's see. We're going to go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and 1. So y'all will get a gist of the story of the man I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about Mattathias. Mattathias was a mighty man in Israel. You know, we had many captivities in our past. Our ancestors, who were the real Israelites, you know, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, those are your ancestors, our ancestors. This is back then. Okay. Now, this is 1 Maccabees 1 and 1. And it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of Kittim. Now, see, Macedonian is actually in Europe. That is part of the Roman Empire. Kittim is Rome. That's an ancient name for Rome, Kittim. Okay, out of the land of Kittim, and Salaki had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes. Now, they're Middle East, the Persians and Medes. Those are Middle East. That's like your modern day Iran and like your modern day Iraq and modern day Iran. Those are the Persians and Medes. So this king slew them. This, you know, Alexander, the son of Philip. You know, you read in the book Alexander. The Bible has real history in it. They call him Alexander the Great when you was in high school. Okay, that's Alexander the Great. Okay, who came out of Kittim, which is Rome, had smitten the king, the Persian king, that he reigned in his steed. So he ruled as king in his steed first over Greece. Everybody knows Greece. That's the white man's area. Okay, that's Europe. That's, you know, part of Rome and Greece and all of that up there where the Italians are, and you know that this is where this took place. Okay, part of this took place. Okay, and verse 2, and made many wars and won strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. Because that's why they called him Alexander the Great, because he slew and killed many kings and he ruled the earth at one time. Okay, and went, verse 3, and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, inasmuch that the earth was quiet before him. The earth anyone had nothing to do with this dude. This dude was a straight up killer warrior king. Okay. He was a white man by the name of Alexander the Great in high school, like I said. Now, we're gonna it's good to read this and go through it, because this is your history and this is what took place back then. Okay. I'm gonna go to verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus. Okay, but prior to this, let me back up just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna back up in the 7th verse. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. Okay, verse 8, and his servants bear rule. Okay, everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. These are the guys, the cats that grew up with Alexander. After Alexander died, they put the crowns on their heads. Okay, you know, and they became and they took power, took possession of the lands, and took power. Okay, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So this wasn't a good thing. The evils multiplied. The evils increased. Okay. Verse 10, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus, the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned 137 year in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Okay, so he ruled in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Okay. Verse 11, now take note. In those days, there out of Israel, wicked men, Salaki, in those days went there out of Israel, wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. So those are people, those are our ancestors, but those are our ancestors that what you would call today a sellout. Those are the ones that said, let's go to the heathen. Let's go to our enemies and join. They wanted to join them, which they did. Okay. Make a covenant, which a covenant is a contract. Let's make a contract agreement with the heathen that are round about us, that surrounded them. All right. But they all surrounded Israel, all the heathen nations. Israel was in the middle of all heathen nations. Okay. For since we departed from them, we've had much sorrow. It's almost like when you read the story of Moses and how when Moses took the Israelites out of Egypt and took them across, they start complaining and moaning, say, let's go back to the Pharaoh. We had a lot of trouble gaining our independence away from the Pharaoh. Let's go back to Egypt, Moses. See, and a lot are going to be doing that. There are a lot that are going to be doing it. They're doing it. They're going to do it. Once we separate, really, truly separate from America, because America really is ancient Egypt. American is patterned after ancient Egypt anyway. Okay. So they said, let's go make a covenant. Let's make an agreement with them so that, we can live better. Okay. So verse 12, so this device pleased them well. Okay. Verse 13, then certain of the people were so froward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. So the king gave them permission. Go ahead and do what we do over here as heathens. You don't have to do God's law, statutes, and commandments. Because if you've read the Bible in certain areas, you'll notice that they always wanted us to drop our law, statutes, and commandments and leave our God, the one true living God, Yahweh, and join the king and follow him like he's a God. See, well, the holy men of the Bible were not having that. And the I.S.U.P.K. under the commanding general YAHANNA, we not having that either. You understand? God's laws were meant to be kept. So in this case, it was the opposite. So they made an agreement with the heathen and all of that, right? Wickedness increased in the earth and all of that, okay? Now, when the kingdom was established, Salaki, verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant. They forsook the holy covenant. They dropped the law, statutes, and commandments. It didn't mean nothing to them no more. Okay, they wanted to follow the heathen. They wanted to follow their king. Okay, and that was, that's been Israelites' problem. That's been Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians' problems the whole time, since the beginning of time. We always want to be like our oppressor. We always want to be like them. We always want to take on their customs. We want to do the Namyo Renke. We want to do the Christmas, the Easter, the Thanksgiving, the Valentine's Day, the the Halloween. We want to do all that, the birthdays. We want to do all of that. That pleased us because that's America. See, we always want to do their ways. See, because there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new. All this took place before. Okay. In this time that I'm reading now, all of these things have taken place before anyway. Okay. So, verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. So they're going to do some evil things, sold to do mischief. Okay. And that's your black leaders. That's your Jesse Jacksons. That's your Farrakhan's. That's your Martin Luther Kings. That's your all of those up in the NAACP and supposedly Negro or black leaders. They all out for themselves, and they joined the covenant with our oppressor. It was the very one that took us in chains and made us slaves. All right, so now I'm kind of going to go down a little bit because I want to get to the point of brotherhood, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. Let's go to verse 18. And made war against Ptolemy, the king of Egypt. So they made, they made war with that African, that king of Egypt. He an African. He's not an Israelite. Ptolemy, that's in Africa. Okay. He made war against the king of Egypt, but Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Verse 19, thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt and took the spoils thereof. So they killed everybody and took their spoils and their money and overcame them. This is your so-called white man. This is your Greek, your Alexander the Great's people, all of his homeboys, so to speak. All right. They took and robbed Egypt, took Egypt over back then. Okay. Now, verse 21. Let's see. Wait, verse 20. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, with many. He came to our holy land. He came to our temple after he did all of that, right? Okay. Verse 21, and entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar, the candlesticks of light, and all the vessels thereof. Verse 22, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, the censers, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crown, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. See, he took all of that. He robbed us. Okay, he robbed God. That's what he did, in essence. Okay. Verse 23, he took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also, he took the hidden treasures which he found. Okay. Verse 24, and when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre. So he killed a lot of folks and spoken very proudly. And he was proud. Because if you know, our oppressor is proud, man. Our oppressor is proud. It's proud and living in America, the land of the home and free, and all of that stuff. Yet he taking our Hispanic brothers and deporting them. And he broke every contract with our native Indian brothers and it caused the trail of tears and murdered many children and people. Okay. And took our ancestors out of the land. Y'all know the story. If you don't, do your history and look it up. Okay. Having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Verse 25, therefore there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were. They were mourning in Israel after all of this. The Bible speaks in the book of Jeremiah 14:2. It says, Judah mourneth. So-called Negroes mourneth. We mourned during that time. And our cries went up to heaven. The Lord heard our cries. We are black unto the ground. which most Negroes are. All right. You know, we different shades of brown, but you could tell, you get the gist that this is the story. The Bible is a black book. It's the book of our ancestors. It's our book. It's not the Christianity that they teach out there. All right. So I'm going to go to verse 29, go down to verse 29. Okay. Let's go to verse 28. Verse 28. This is First Maccabees 1 and verse 28. The land also was moved. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. Our people was covered with confusion after all of this. Okay. Verse 29. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector to tribute to the cities of Judah, who also came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude. So the king sent his chief collector. He sent his collector over there. All right, his chief collector. This is taxes. You know, the king gonna get his tax. He trying to get his money. He trying to rob. Okay. Verse 30. And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. He spoke peaceable, but everything was a lie. It was deceit. Okay. For when they had given him credence, so when they trusted him and thought that he was credible, he fell suddenly upon the city. To fall upon someone is to attack them. When it says they fell upon them, that means they attacked them. Okay. He spoke peacefully and then he attacked. Okay. He fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel. You see this proud bastard, what this proud bastard did? All right. Let's go to verse 33. Then buildeth they the city of David with a great strong wall and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. See, he made the city of David a stronghold for him and his heathens. Not a stronghold for the children of Israel, who it belonged to, not for a stronghold for the sons of Jacob, who it belonged to, the Israelites. He made it a stronghold for the heathen, for himself, our oppressor. Okay. Verse 34, and they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. They strengthened themselves therein when they did all this. Verse 35, they stored it also with armor and victuals. And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there. So they became a sore snare. A snare is a trap. They became a sore trap. Okay. Verse 36, for it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary and an evil adversary to Israel, an evil enemy to Israel. So the adversary is. Verse 37, thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it. So this is the makeup of what's going on before Mattathias rose up, okay, because he was around this time. But this Maccabees, this is about his victory, our victory against the heathen. That's what this is about. All right. And we're gonna have total victory this time. This time when World War III and all that hit and everything goes crazy, which you're already seeing it with Trump and all the things and Elon Musk and all of them, what they doing, firing and going crazy against other people with the tariffs. And when this country falls apart by the seams and we go to direct straight war, you're going to see Israel rise. We are going to rise. And as we say, Kwam Yashra'Allah, which means rise, Israel, rise. All right. So let's go to, here it is right here. Okay. As in verse 40, as had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. This is talk about Israel in the city of David. Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Sound familiar? That's what they do in America. They want you to be one people, one nation under God, right? Indivisible and all that, with liberty, justice, blah, 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 right? One people. So it's not new. Things that have happened in the past is happening now. It's going on now. Same thing. It's nothing new. This is the book of Ecclesiastes says it's nothing new under the sun. So they want that all should be one people. Verse 42, for everyone should leave his laws. So leave your laws. If you're an Israelite, don't refrain from eating pork. Eat all the pork that you want. Eat all the shrimp, crab, and lobster that you want. You know, do anything that you want. Do what the king tells you to do. You know, you see it all days on these commercials, the Baconator. They got these new pizza little things with the little bacon on top, the bacon bits on top, and they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it because they know that they telling the Israelites to eat pork, which is breaking the law. You're breaking the law and you're sinning when you eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and oysters, anything without scales and fins. All right, so, and everyone should leave his laws, so all heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. The heathen agreed to it. All right. Yea, many also of the Israelites, get this, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. So many Israelites left his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. See? So, verse 44, for the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and to the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land. See, they should follow the strange laws of the land. And those type of things is what's going on today. They want you to leave everything and follow these strange laws. Now, don't get us wrong. When God commanded us to keep the laws of the nation that you're in, but he also commanded us to keep his laws. See, that's what's really going on. We're not supposed to jaywalk and go kill nobody and steal and all that stuff, but we still supposed to keep God's laws. You know, we have our Passover, our great Passover is coming up on April 9th, April 13th, April 9th through the 13th. We're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Come out there because we're keeping God's laws. Understand? So that's what they did. They tried to get everyone to do. They tried to get all the Israelites to do their laws, and a lot of Israelites did their laws. Shameful. That's just shame. You understand? They should not have done that. Okay. So let's see. Verse 43, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols. They bring their Christmas tree in. Okay. Sacrifice unto idols and profane the Sabbath. See, they also profane the Sabbath. Verse 44, for the king sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Jerusalem that they should follow the strange laws of the land. Okay. Now, all of this is going on, and very few said, I'm not going to do the king's laws. A lot did the king's laws. A lot of us are still in them Christian churches. A lot of us are still eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. A lot of us are still smoking weed. A lot of us are smoking, period. A lot of us are keeping Easter and New Year's, Valentine's, and all of that. You understand? Birthdays, Mother Day, for all of that. And that's against God. That is against God. You're not keeping his commandments when you're doing these things. Okay? So Also, we're gonna go here. Let me continue. And pollute, I'm gonna go to verse 46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Verse 47, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh, which is pig flesh, and sacrifice swine flesh and unclean beasts. Verse 48, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation. Verse 49, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. See, that was the goal. Forget the law. Don't follow God. Follow our law. Follow the king. He's mighty. Follow the king. Don't follow God. Follow the king. Okay? That's what was going down. All right? Verse 50. And whosoever would do not according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So they're ready to do bloodshed. You don't follow the king, off with your head. Okay. Verse 51, and in the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice, city by city. See, so they were making a purge. Okay. City by city. Verse 52, then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land. That's when they started committing the evils. They were committing the evil in the land. See, you leave God's laws, you surely will do evil. Surely. Okay? Evils in this land. Verse 53, and drove the Israelites into secret places. Now that pushed the Israelites who wanted to follow the law, it took them into, it pushed them into the secret places. They said, we ain't having that. We know God will punish us if we follow this law. So they went into the secret places. Okay. Even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Okay. So they wanted to flee so they could get themselves together. You know, they had to stay. They had to do, they had to get themselves together. They had to get away from this wicked king and these wicked laws and them wicked Israelites. Okay. Verse 54, now the 15th day of the month of Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side. They're jacking up our temple. They're messing up our place. They're messing up God's place. Understand? They're trying to pull us away from our law, statutes, and commandments, and getting away from all the things that we were taught by our prophets, by the Lord, by all of the great men of the Bible. You understand? They're pulling us away from that. Okay? This wicked king and his cronies, all of his head men. All right? And burnt, verse 55, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. All right. Verse 56, and when they rent the pieces of the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. And wherever, verse 57, and whosoever was found with any book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. They put him to kill. They kill him just straight out. They found out that you were still practicing the Bible, they're going to put you to death. They put them to death. Okay. Let's see. Verse 58, thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month to as many as were found in the city. Verse 59. Now the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the God Salaki, which was upon the altar of God. So they put an idol altar upon God's altar, over God's altar. See? And they sacrificed to that. Verse 60, at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. So if the mother wanted the kid to be circumcised, they killed her. They killed her straight out. All right. Verse 61, and they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them. So they rifled their houses, which means they went through all their stuff. When you rifle through somebody's stuff, you're going through all their things. Okay. Verse 62, howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. They wanted to keep the law. Okay. Verse 63, wherefore the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meat, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. Verse 64, and there was great wrath upon Israel. All right. So now we're going to go to Maccabees, first Maccabees 2. Let's go to the second chapter and let's get this out. All right. Let me see what's going on here in the chat. Okay, I'm going to take our time. Shalom, Olivia Arnold. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Thah. Yahweh Shemar Thah Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Sister Olivia, all right. Shalom says, young man Jeremiah. Shalom, brother. All right. Let's go down. Let's see who else is in here with me. Halak. Shalom. Lord in Christ. Brother Halak. All right. Sister Bathawana. Shalom, sis. All right. Good to see you, sis. Good to have you on here with us. All right. Officer 5000 Matabar. Shalom, Matawan. All right. Young man Davion. Shalom, brother. Good to see you up in here. All right. Now we'll continue. All right. So we're going to go to, I believe, the 9th verse. Let me make sure. Bear with me. 1 minute. No, we're going to go down. We're going to go down to the 41st verse. Salaki. Now to introduce, I'm gonna just give y'all the backdrop on Mattathias. Mattathias wanted to keep the law. He said, if you zealous for the law at this time, follow me. Drop everything and follow me. If you want to keep God's law, follow me. Because he saw all the wickedness that was going on with this king, Antiochus, and all of his henchmen and his chief tax collectors or whatever. And he said, no, I'm not going about that. Because they approached him. And they said, you have a big influence in Israel. Why don't you follow us, Mattathias? Mattathias said, hell no. If you zealous for the law, Israelites, and this is for Israelites, follow me. That's what Mattathias said. He wasn't having it. Just like UPK warriors, priest warriors, we ain't having that. We following God's laws, okay? That's what time it is in I.S.U.P.K. under the Commanding General YAHANNA. All right. Now, I'm going to go to 1 Maccabees 2 and verse 39. Now, when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore. They mourned for those because there were some Israelites who didn't want to fight on the Sabbath. They separated from the king. They separated from all of that. But and they when they came to pursue them, it was on the Sabbath day, and they was like, "Nah, we're not gonna fight you on the Sabbath," and they got killed. And then Mattathias heard of it, and they agreed for them brothers. All right. So, see, that's done. That's done right there. And the story before, that's what it says. Verse 37 says, this is Maccabees, First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 37 says, but said, let us die in our innocency. Heaven and earth will testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully. Verse 38, so they rose up against them in battle. Them heathens rose against them in battle. They didn't give a damn if it was the Sabbath. Okay, and slew them with their wives and children and their cattle to the number of 1,000 people. Verse 39, see, they didn't want to follow rank and order. They didn't want to follow Mattathias, which what they should have did. They would have stayed alive. Not that we don't care about them brothers and sisters that died. Of course we do. But if they would have followed the rank order, they would have followed Mattathias, they would have lived. Because Mattathias would have said, get your arrows and spears out right now. We know it's Saturday. You better be fighting, okay, so that you can live. All right. Now, verse 39, now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore. Verse 40, and one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth. They knew. They said, we don't fight and keep this law and stand, they're going to root us out the earth. We're going to die. All right. Verse 41, at that time they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come and make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. See, they knew from that. They knew what they should be doing. Okay. Verse 44. So they joined their forces and smote sinful men in their anger and wicked men in their wrath, but the rest fled to the heathen for succor. Verse 45, then Mattathias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars. See, they pulled them altars down. They said, get this swine altar, this heathen off my kings. Get it off of my king's altar. Get it off of the real king of Israel. Get it off of God's altar. Okay. Verse 46, and what children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly. So they circumcised all the kids that were supposed to be circumcised. Not like what the king said they should do. Leave them uncircumcised. Hell no, that's not an Israelite custom. Israelite custom is to circumcise them children. Be circumcised. All right. Verse 47, they pursued also after the proud men, and the work prospered in their hand. Verse 48, so they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles and out of the hand of the kings. Neither suffered they the sinner to triumph. Verse 49, now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said to his sons, this is what a father, true father says to his sons. Okay. Now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength, and the time of destruction and wrath of indignation. Verse 50. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law. Be ye zealous for the law. Follow that law. Keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Keep them. That's what Mattathias said to his kids. Okay. That's what he wanted for them to do. And see, the sure sign that you know that's going with brotherhood, you follow what your father tell you to do, because you'll tell other men to do the same thing. You'll join with the other men of your nation, and y'all will be victorious because you'll be following God and you will have true brotherhood. Okay. Be zealous for the law and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Give your life for it. See, and that's what we do here. That's what we do here in I.S.U.P.K. We give our lives for our brothers. We know when we go out to camp, we could die out there speaking God's words and going against the multitudes and against their Christmas and their Halloween and their LGBTQ, whatever the hell it is, going against that. We know we could risk our lives, that we are risking our lives. So we are tight with each other. God commands we be tight as a nation, not only in camp, but as a nation of Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, that we come together. See, we were the ones that went down there and those Venezuelan immigrants. We helped them. We passed out food. We fed them. You know, we teached and preached to them. We prophesied to them and showed them the way that they should be going, giving them back their culture. We went when who was it? The Haitians. When the Haitians was down there in Mexico at the border trying to get some help, and them whipping them on horses, just like they did us and my ancestors in the slave times, whipped us on horses with whips. Pow! They did the same thing to them Haitians down there just recently, okay? Recently. And we went down there and fed them food. They were just trying to get food for their kids because there was an earthquake in their country, in Haiti. They wasn't down because of something crazy. It was an earthquake. They couldn't live over there, but America treated them wrong, man. Got on horses and whipped them. Kept them out of America. Kept them away. We went down there, got what we have, about 18 trailers, 18 wheelers, went out there with the big trucks and fed them, clothed them, bring clothes, food, the word, you know, women's hygiene kits for the women. There are women and children out there, man. True brotherhood is you give your life for your brothers, man. You give your life for your sisters and the children, man. The Most High ain't playing, and we ain't playing. You understand? This is real. This is spiritual warfare, man. This nation America is about to go down. It's about to be destroyed, thus saith the Lord. You have to have what's going to save you. Come into I.S.U.P.K. Come into our school. Get in contact with our camp leaders immediately. Come in here. Don't waste no time. There ain't no time. Should not be wasted, man. Ain't going to be ain't much time left. Tell you that right now. The doorstep of World War III, ain't much time left. All right, now. Be zealous for the law and give your life. I'm in 1 Maccabees 2 and verse 50. Now, therefore, be zealous for the law and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Verse 51, call to remembrance the acts of our fathers did in their times. So shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name. That's what you want. Isn't that what you want? Great honor and an everlasting name before the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Don't you want that? Okay. That's what's going on. All right. Verse 52, was not Abraham found faithful in temptation and was imputed unto him for righteousness? And by the way, Abraham killed 2 kings and he took their spoils. All right. And he paid the first tithes. The first tithes that were paid was Abraham paid Melchizedek the tithes, 1/10 of what he took for the 2 kings that he killed. See, this Bible ain't no fairy tale book about love and kiss you because you're nice and everything is nice and beautiful and this and dancing off to the heavens. No, God is a man of war. You got to fight for this word. You got to fight to bring these words out. Mattathias fought and he taught his sons to fight, to be zealous for the law and fight whoever goes against you about the law. Understand? He didn't say commit murder. That's a whole different thing. You fight for the law, and if you have to take a life for the law, that's what you have to do. But really, we do it in self-defense. It's called self-defense. Okay? Now, let's go to say Abraham was. Joseph, verse 53, Joseph in the time of his distress kept the commandments and was made Lord of Egypt. He was the viceroy of Egypt, Joseph. the brother, the son of Jacob, all right, whose name was later changed to Israel. His name was later changed to Israel, Joseph. Okay, that's what you need to know, and that's how you need to follow yourself and conduct yourself in life, man. Keep God's laws, man. They're so important. They're so important, man. You know, I can't even say it to the magnitude that it even need to even be said to. God's laws are here, and God's laws are meant to be followed. And God's word is not going to come back empty. When he said these things, it's not going to come back empty. You either worship him, either, you know, they had this movie. What was it called? State Property. Gangster movie, black movie, gangster movie. And he wanted people to get with him. He said either you get down or lay down. Now, he ain't God, but that's what the Most High is telling you. You either get down with God's laws or you lay down. Get down or lay down. All right. Verse 54, Phinehas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Caleb, verse 56, Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. Verse 57, David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. That's why we wear David's, the Dawadah gun, the shield, this God's shield, David's shield, the shield of David, the Dawadah gun. Magun means shield. Dawadah is David's Hebrew name. Salaki. David is an English word, but Dawadah was his real name. All right. It goes through all of this. Now, I'm gonna go into some of these questions. Some of these scriptures on brotherhood. Let's go to 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20. 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love God and hateth his brother, you say you love God, but you hate your brother, he is a liar. You're a straight up liar. You love God, but you hate your brother. You hate homeboy go down the street. You hate it. First of all, he not in the truth, so you need to be trying to teach him. You need to be trying to fish him. If you're in our school, okay. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, you see him, you see Ray Ray and Pookie every day. All right. How can he love God whom he hath not seen? How you gonna love God and say you love God? You don't even love your brother. Your brother in the ghetto right next to you. He probably live next door. You understand? You see him all the time when you go to the GR office. You see him all the time when you go to work. When you walk down the street, yo, what up? You know? A lot of us don't even speak to each other, you know? And that's wrong. How you gonna say you love God, you don't love your brother you see every day? You understand? That in itself is wrong. Okay. Now let's go to Luke chapter 6 and verse 31. The book of Luke chapter 6 and verse 31. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. As you want somebody to treat you a certain way, you need to treat people like you want them to treat you. You don't go up there, disrespecting the person and saying, yeah, give me this, give me this, you peon. give me this, you simp. Give me this, you scrub. No, you don't do that. Do you want somebody to call you a scrub, a simp, or a peon, or any other derogatory name? You wouldn't have a man do that to you or anyone. So you treat another brother like you want to be treated yourself. hey, brother, I need this, man. Is it possible? You know, if you can help me out with this right here, I really would appreciate it, man. And I'll definitely remember you when you probably be in need. You know, something like to that effect. You know, brother, can you help me out, please? See, that goes a long way. You know, you want to treat them with respect, like the respect that you demand for yourself. That's what this scripture is telling you. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. Okay, and ain't no time for you doing anything other than that. Okay, that's why we in the mess that we in. And when this all breaks down, we're going to be the only people that we have to rely on. When this third world war breaks down, and they're going to say, "Get out of our town, nigga." They say, "Get out of our town. Get away from here. Don't come to this store no more." Who you going to depend on then? What are you going to do then? But surely you can't go back up there who you was serving and giving the best respect to. You know, "Hi, fella," and "Hi, guy, how are you?" You know, you giving all that respect and everything. You can't go to him no more because he was really an undercover KKK. He was an undercover hater. He didn't really love you. He did that out of the philosophy of America. He did that to look good. You know, I forget that sports guy who said, I'll let rap go, and I'll let them rap and do gangster and murder rap. I got to feed my family." That's all he cared about was his damn family. You know, you don't want to be part of that. You don't want to be no sellout. You don't be no Uncle Tom house Negro. Okay, you don't want to be that, man. You want to join with your brothers, man. You want to truly join with your brothers, with your heart, your mind. Truly with your mind. Where surely where your treasures are, where your heart is, which is your mind, that's where your treasures are. So if your mind is with your brothers, you treasure your brothers. Because that's what you do. Okay? That's brotherhood, man. All right. Now we're going to drop this. We're going to go to let's go to John 15:12. The book of John, chapter 15 and verse 12. All right. "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you." The Most High loved us, man. We should be dead. We should already. He was gonna just make Moses and his family the chosen people. But Moses said, "Nah, do all of us. Make all of us your chosen people. Make in other words, make Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians your chosen people," because the Most High wasn't having it because we were so wicked. And it's still wicked to this day like that. But we were so wicked, the Lord was just going to blot us out and just let Moses do it because he knew Moses was going to do the law, statutes, and commandments. He knew Moses was going to go to Pharaoh and say, "Let my people go." But Moses said, "No." So the Most High chose us. He chose us to be priests and prophets. He chose us as a people to have a everlasting kingdom and to be in the land of milk and honey and to have this last Exodus. But this is the last Exodus. This ain't the first. The first Exodus was in Egypt. This is the last Exodus out of America and every other place on this earth where we've been scattered. The Lord is going to pull us all back together again and make sure that our enemies be destroyed. All right. So John 15. Let's see, make sure that I'm at the right one. And let's go from 12. All right. Verse 13. "Greater love no man has than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Lay down your life for your friends. There's no greater commandment than that. Not a greater one. Lay down your life. Well, we took an oath as officers in this school That's just what we did, that oath. And we stand by it. We stand side by side. And we'll put our life that you don't kill our brothers. And we will protect them to the end. We'll protect them to death. Understand? If I got to risk my life for my brother, for Officer 500 Mata Bar, I got to do it. I have to do it for Captain Goodell Hall, I got to do it. If I got to do it for young man Davion, I got to do it for young man Jeremiah. I got to lay my life down for these brothers, man. It's important that we do that. That's the no greater commandment out of the entire book of the Bible than that you lay your life for your friend. Understand? All right. Verse 14, ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. We're the Most High's friends if we do what he commands us to do. Okay? That's exactly what's supposed to happen. That's exactly how we should carry ourselves. That's exactly the frame of mind that we should be in. We should be in that frame of mind. Okay? Exactly. That's right. Damn right, Davion. But it needs to be taught. You need to learn this from the I.S.U.P.K. to learn this in this school. That's how we teach. That's how we carry ourselves. We not, and I'm sure y'all heard about the Gorilla Hebrew that likes to take pigs. You know, he's a leader of a fake Israelite group, and come to find out he's a homosexual. He's a sodomite. Come to find out that he should step down. You understand? You don't never find that in the I.S.U.P.K. We've been around since 1969. None of that happens here because this is the true word of God being taught here. You understand? All right. Verse 17 says, these things I command you, that ye love one another. Verse 18, if the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. It hated Christ before it hated us. Okay, so know that. That's what we need to be. That's what we need to do. Now let's move on to let's go to Matthew 18 and verse 20. The book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. For 2 or 3 gathered in the name of Yahushua, Yahushua is in the middle of that. God is in the middle of that. You understand? Where 2 or 3 are gathered, that's where the Most High is. Okay? So there's a gathering together. Okay? On Passover, we're going to have a holy convocation. In other words, a holy gathering, a separate gathering from this world. We'll be in Atlanta, Georgia on April 9th through April 13th. And we will be observing Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread as a holy congregation, as a people, a holy gathering of the people who follow the true laws, statutes, and commandments of God. That's what this is. You understand? That's what you should be doing. Okay? Now let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 12 and verse 31. The book of Mark, chapter 12 and verse 31. And the second is like, namely this. Okay, I'm just going to go up to 30 first anyway. Let's go to verse 30. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. Okay. Verse 31. And the second is like. It's the same. Namely this. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Now the Christian church, y'all get it all confused as Christian church. Love your neighbor. No, it's not talk about the person that lives next to you. It's talk about the person that's of your own tribe, of your own lineage, of your own people, of the 12 tribes of Israel. It's talk about loving Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. That's your neighbor. Understand? Love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Okay? I might have already has spoke that once, so lock you on that. Now let's go to the book of Hebrews. Hebrews in the 13th chapter. Hebrews 13 and verse 1. Let brotherly love continue. Verse 2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Man, that's another different story. I kind of had experience about something similar, very similar in my lifetime. But we won't speak on this. But remember, you need to entertain people, and that means you need to be brotherly to your brothers and sisters, man. Because you don't know, you could be talking to an angel. You need to entertain them the same way as your brother and sister, period. Okay? For thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Because an angel could take the form of a person, of a human being. All right? Verse 3, remember them that are in bonds as bound with them. They in prison, you bind yourself with them. You in prison with them. Because they locked up. You locked up. You there to help them. Okay? You are there to help them. And them would suffer adversity as being yourselves also in the body. Okay? So understand that. Now let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 11 and verse 11. Isaiah 11, verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. So all those who are left, who survive, the Lord going to put his hand and bring us together. We survive all that's getting ready to go down, that's been going down. All the killing and all of the wars and bombs and strife and violence that's going to be in this earth. Even more that increases in this earth. All those who remain, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, Most High going to set his hand and gather the remnant of us. All right? The second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. Verse 12, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, a symbol for the nations, our symbol, okay, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, all of us outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth, okay, because we have been scattered from the four corners of the earth. The Most High is going to pull us all back together again. Join us together again. He's going to do it. Okay? So get prepared, get ready for that. All right. Verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart. Now, when he says Ephraim, he's speaking about the Puerto Ricans. And he's really speaking about all of the Hispanic brothers. He's going to get that envy out of there. They're not going to be envious of us, their brothers, the so-called Negroes. Ain't going to be no envy between us and them because they are us. They're just another tribe and we are them. Okay? The envy of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries, the enemies of Judah, which is my ancestors because I'm the so-called Negro, all of the Negroes, the enemies of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah. See, the Hispanics won't envy the so-called blacks. Okay? And Judah shall not vex the Hispanics because we got a tendency to do that. We always picking on Spanish people or it's like a Hispanic people or whatever you would call them, however they call themselves. And I'm speaking of Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Venezuelans, Dominicans, Guatemalans, Salvadorians, and so forth. You understand? We won't have that. We won't have that violence and that envy and that vexing against each other no more. Thus saith the Lord. We're not going to be doing that. All right? So that's another part of the brotherhood that's going down. Okay. Now I'm going to go to Revelation 6 and verse 9. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 9. Okay, no, we're going to scratch that one. I'm going to scratch that one for 1 minute. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. Salaki, 1 Corinthians, verse 12 and chapter 12 and verse 12. 1 Corinthians, chapter 12 and verse 12. For as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ, Yahawashi in the Hebrew. So as a whole body, it has many. We are many in one body in Christ. We're one in Christ. Some of the heads, like our generals, the head, officers' body. You got officers, the arms, the fingers, and the legs. The troopers, the legs and the feet. The fingers, the sisters, or the toes, or whatever. Whatever body part that is, that represents our people. We represent that body. Whatever part of that body, we represent them. Some of us are good at teaching. Some of us are good at fishing. Some of us are good at the food service, handing out the food distribution. Some of us are good at being representatives and going and representing the I.S.U.P.K. Some of us are good at Hebrew Academy and teaching. Some of us are good at security, and keeping security to make sure everybody in I.S.U.P.K is safe. Some of us are just good leaders. You understand? And some of us are good soldiers. All of us are soldiers. Put it that way. We all soldiers. There's no mistake. Don't mistake that. But as one body, we operate under one thing. When the men above us say to do something, we say kana no kan. Understand? So we're going to do accordingly to the orders that were given to us. We operate as a team. We operate as one member under Christ, our King. Understand? That takes brotherhood. Okay? Many are the body. Verse 13, for by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body. Okay? Whether we are Jews or Gentiles. Now, Gentiles you think that's everybody. That means the Chinese man, that means the African man, that means the Indian man. But so Lucky, give me a second. I'm gonna clear that up right now so that you don't get any kind of misunderstanding of what they're speaking of as a Gentile. Hold on, give me 1 second. Now we're gonna look. No, Salaki, not in this book. We're gonna look in Gentiles in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. It's the hardcover. Okay, we're gonna look under Gentiles. This is the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. Let's find out what a Gentile is. This is on page 307. It said, Salaki, Gentiles. In the King James Version of the Old Testament is stated 30 times. Sometimes Goy refers to Israel. Oh, so if it says Gentiles in the Bible, it don't always mean another nation, like an African, like an Indian, like a Chinese, Japanese, or whatever. It don't mean that all the time. It's sometimes Goy, they call it Goy. Sometimes Goy refers to Israel. Go to the 307th page in the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary, and it'll tell you that. Goy usually means a non-Israelite, usually, but not all the time. See, I usually do this, but sometimes I don't. Well, sometimes it's not a heathen, it's an Israelite. A Gentile could be an Israelite. Sometimes, okay? You have to look at context, okay? And in this context, that's what it means, Jews or Gentiles. In 1 Corinthians 12, chapter 12 and verse 13, whether be Jews or Gentiles, whether be bond or free, or have been all made to drink into one spirit. Verse 14, for the body is not one member, but many. The body is not one member, but many. Okay? Many members. Okay? So that can be, that is what we are. Okay? Verse 15, if the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, and it is therefore not of the body. So like, is it therefore not of the body because it's not the hand? Of course not. It's the foot. That's part of the body. You got to have a hand and a foot if you're going to walk and talk and work. Okay? So we're under one body. Now let's go to 1 Corinthians and let's go to chapter 10. Let's go to chapter 10. No, let's go to 1 Corinthians 1, chapter 1 and verse 10. So like 1 Corinthians 1 and verse 10. Now I beseech thee, brethren, by the name of our Lord, Yahawashi Christ, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you. So we can't click up. We don't click up in UPK. Everybody's your brother in here. Everybody. Okay, no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. See, yes, we all speak and say the same thing, similar, the same, for real. That's right. That's right, Jeremiah, young man Jeremiah, the same Real. That's right. Be real with it. No divisions, man. Can't be no divisions up in here. You know, you can't come and speak of something different, and then the other brother speaking something else different, and the other brother speaking something different over here, and he doing something different over there. How you gonna be organized? How you gonna have discipline? How you gonna have order when the Bible says everything should be done decently and in order? That I'm paraphrasing. Everything should be done decently and in order. Okay. If that ain't U.P.K, I don't know what is. If that's not I.S.U.P.K, I don't know what is. Okay. That was 1 in verse 10. Okay. Let's go to let's see what's Peter. Let's see. Bear with me. Second Peter. Second Peter, chapter 1 and verse 7. First Peter chapter 1 and verse 7. And to godliness, brotherly kindness. There it is again. Brotherhood, brotherly kindness, as if that's your brother. You treat that man like that's your brother. You treat that woman like that's your sister. You understand? Brotherly kindness. And to brotherly kindness, charity. Okay? Charity. All right? So if you have to give somebody something, or you should, they're in need, give of yourself. Give someone what they need. Don't withhold your hand to do good when you can do good. You can do good, do it toward your brother and sister, man. It's important. It's of the Most High. That's when you know the real spirit of the Most High is with you. When you do these things. You understand? You don't keep no contentions and all that stuff. You don't do none of those things. Okay. Now, let's go to John 13 and verse 34. We're going to go to the book of John, chapter 13 and verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. Okay. Verse 35. And by this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, and if ye love one to another. I'm gonna read it again. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye love one to another. That's how you know God's people. They love one another. Come to the Passover and find out. Let us drink some wine with you. Let us eat some lamb with you. Let us eat the bitter herb with you. Let us eat the unleavened bread with you. You understand? Let us treat you decently, and that you be in the most protected place on the earth amongst your brothers and sisters on April 9th to April 13th. And whenever you with us, you'll be protected, because we're commanded to protect you. We're commanded to make sure that you are treated decently, and that you are not disrespected or abused or anything like that. You understand that? We will go to the end for you, because we know that you are people, and we need to give you back your customs. Well, attending Passover, you get your customs, your laws, your statutes and commandments back, your culture back. You get your culture back, which our oppressor just stripped from you and stole from you and never gave you your culture back. Our oppressor never gave us our culture back. He never told us that this Bible is a black book. He never told us that this Bible is a Hispanic book, a so-called Native Indian book. When we say black, we mean all of that. When I say black, I mean Hispanic and so-called Native Indian. And so does General YAHANNA. So does General Muhammad. So does Captain Gadalhar. So does Captain Akkad. All our captains, all of us. When we say black, we mean black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, period. You understand? We give you your culture back. We tell you what you should and should not be doing, according to the Bible, according to God's word. You understand? It's important that you take heed and understand that these things should be added to your life. Just like you breathe air, you should be doing the commandments. Just like you drink water and nourish yourself, you should be nourishing yourself with the word of God, giving yourself the proper understanding by listening to a priest and prophet such as myself in higher ranking break this Bible down to you. Okay, that's what it's about. And it's important that you get it as soon as possible. Because like I said, World War III is coming. And it's not going to be no joke when you see all these people fall by the wayside, fall by the sword, and fall by this fire. Okay. Just as in, we're going to go to the book of Zechariah. I don't think World War III is here. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. The book of Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherein the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Fought against Jerusalem. Fought against us black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. This is going to be your plague that the Lord sends to you. Wherewith the Lord shall smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. See, that is the characteristic of thermonuclear fire. That's when a nuclear bomb drops. Your tongue will melt in your mouth. Your eyes will melt in their sockets. Your flesh will fall away from the bone of your body. You understand? That's World War III coming to America. All right? So this is what we should be doing at this time. What you should be doing, let's go to the book of Zephaniah. Let's go to, let's see, I'm in 1. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. In the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1 says, gather yourselves together. Well, how are you going to gather yourself together if you don't have brotherhood? You can't gather yourself together with somebody that disagrees with you on every step and every level, who don't want to be with you, who don't take a step towards you. Well, the book of Zephaniah says, gather yourselves together, black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Because this is who this book is written for. It's written for Israel. And real Israel is black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation, not desired. A nation that's not desired. They don't desire the Hispanic brothers, man. They don't desire the black brothers, man. They don't desire the so-called Native Indians, which means why we should gather together. You see why the Bible is so intelligent? The Bible was written by God. He said we are to gather ourselves together against our oppressor, man. Gather yourselves together so you know what to do in these times. If you're not in the school, get into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the commanding General YAHANNA. Started on 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right? And understand that you should be attending class every week, every day, and get your Hebrew name. Come to the Passover. You know, you may not get your Hebrew name because it's less than 90 days to get to the Passover, but in 90 days you'll get your Hebrew name, and you'll be out of this world and into what God wants you to be. And looking forward to being in the kingdom. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing my brothers and sisters at Passover. I'm looking forward to saluting the Torah, you know, and eating that unleavened bread and drinking that wine and fellowshipping with my brothers and sisters and congregating, you understand, out in Atlanta, Georgia on April 9th through April 14th. Can't wait to see y'all there. And with that, this is Police Officer 1000 Shadow Rock saying shalom.